It's my feel-good breakfast show.
A very warm welcome back to your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso on SABC3. Now, this past Thursday, Eskom CEO Brial Molfe told South Africans that there would be no load shedding this winter as the power utility reaches a new milestone in capacity. Now, this is due to the fact that energy availability is now at 76% this year as compared to 70% last year in October. So the lights will be going to stay on this coming winter. And joining us, of course, to talk to us right now is Gauteng Eskom spokesperson Khulu Phasiwe. Always great to have you with us.
Thank you so much.
I was asking you just during the ad break, how are the stress levels feeling now in comparison to last year?
Well, compared to last year, we are in a much better space now, and we're hoping that system will continue to be as stable as it is, so that we can move through the winter without any incidents of load shedding.
So how has Eskom been able to get to this point where you can proudly announce to South Africa that winter will be without load shedding?
The main function that we did, or one of the things that we did, was to make sure that we do as much maintenance as possible. You remember that during the public holidays and long weekends, we were doing what we call summer maintenance festival. So all of those things put together have resulted in us having a much better system right now, which is why we're now sitting at about 76%. And our plan is to continue to make sure that we reach our target, which is 80%. And we feel that in the next, maybe say a year or so, we should be able to reach that target so that we can now safely say that South Africa will no longer have load shedding.
Yeah. Tell me more about those plans that have been put in place to ensure that we don't have power cuts.
Well, we continue to do as much maintenance as possible. And right now, as I speak to you, we have sort of scaled down a bit in terms of maintenance, but we'll continue to do maintenance still in winter. But remember, in winter, that's when we have a lot of demand on the system.
Of course, yes.
So we need to make sure that our machines are ready and available. And so far, the things are looking good. And that's why the President and our CEO have recently said that they are confident that we will go through this period without load shedding.
Yeah. And looking at what happened last year with load shedding, it being a very controversial topic, would you say that it was effective? Did it actually help to relieve the grid of its strain?
Well, load shedding generally is not a good thing to happen to any country. And right now, as I speak to you, we do have other countries, by the way, like Venezuela, who are going through load shedding almost on a regular basis. By the way, every Friday in Venezuela, it's a sort of a public holiday, because they want to make sure that they relieve pressure on the system. But on our side, we want to make sure that we no longer go back to those days of load shedding. What we are doing now is we have brought online Unit 6 of Medupi Power Station. We also have brought online Unit 3 and Unit 4 of Ingula Power Station. All of those units have added a bit more capacity on our system, but we've also done a lot of maintenance. That maintenance program has added just over 2,600 megawatts into the grid. So between Medupi and the units which have been brought online because of maintenance, we now have just over 3,000 megawatts into the grid, which is why we're seeing the stability that we currently are enjoying now.
So in conclusion, yes, it did help to relieve the strain off of the grid that is able to have us where we are right now.
Well, the most important thing is that we are doing maintenance. So that maintenance has been able to give us this extra capacity that we're talking about now, yes.
And then finally, I've got to ask, what does the future look like for energy in South Africa?
Well, we currently are building new generation, meaning new power stations, to make sure that when the commodity prices come back and start, the demand start to pick up, we do have enough generating capacity to meet that demand. So we are almost projecting that in the next few years, South Africa will start to improve in terms of economic growth, and therefore we want to make sure that we have all systems ready to make sure that we meet that demand.
Yeah. Dr. Phasiwe, thank you very much for joining us this morning and bringing us this good news.
Sure, thank you so much.
Yeah, well, they say winter is coming, but we're not scared in South Africa because the lights are going to be staying on. But sticking with current news, now, if you're watching sports this past weekend, you will know that something incredible happened. In fact, Graham has the details for us.